Ladies and gentlemen, introducing the Wrestle Addict Radio Network.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
What is going on, everybody?
What up, fam?
Hey, it's me.
What up, Oozes?
What's up, guys? This is the Monday Night Delight.
Are you looking for a network that brings you all things pro wrestling? Then look no further. Wrestle Addict Radio brings you a varied source of wrestling content.
What's going on, guys? This is Willie T.
My name is Mr. Fretz.
This is your resident Smart Slayer.
Search for Wrestle Addict Radio on all major podcast platforms and be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode.
Buzz, guys. My name is Kate Murphy of the Kings of the Ring podcast, and you are listening.
And you're listening. And you're listening.
And you are listening.
And you are listening.
Get ready for a war, because you're listening.
Come join the war each and every week as we fight to keep wrestling real.
What's up, everybody? This is King Ricky Rose, and you are listening to Wrestle Addict Radio.
This is your pool party captain, Randy Fitzsimmons, and you're listening to the Game Changer Podcast. Pew pew!
She's back! Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this edition of the Game Changer Podcast. It is not quite boss time because I'm not going to be ripping off Michael Cole. My God, just no thank you very much. I am indeed NateFNGreat. You can check me out on Twitter at RealFNGay, and I'm being joined here by the one, the only, everybody's favorite Canadian in wrestling, as well as on the Twitter, that being at the legendary JF, Mr. Fretz. How you doing today, good sir?
I am adequate, sir. How about yourself?
I am doing pretty good. Honestly, we had a pretty good Summerslam weekend. I can't really complain too much. And guys, I also have to say this. I have to make a little bit of a shout out to one of our members of the Game Changer podcast. Mr. Nick Marvin became a father this week. He and his wife gave birth to a little baby boy. Ironically enough, named Finn. So, yeah. He's a true wrestling fan. Shout out majorly to Nick. And honestly, guys, there's a lot of things that are going to be coming up in the Game Changer podcast. If you haven't already seen the announcement, check it out on my Facebook fan page. It's going to be absolutely an awesome next few months building up to Survivor Series. But we're not here to talk about Survivor Series. That's still a ways away here. We could be talking about All Out. Well, actually, we'll talk a little bit about that within the forthcoming weeks. But for this, of course, we have to talk about NXT TakeOver as well as Summerslam, the biggest party of the summer. So we're actually going to be doing just kind of like a brief overview, like our thoughts of the shows, as well as some of like the highlights throughout the entire weekend. So I'm going to go through like some of these results here from NXT TakeOver. The tag team title matchup, we had the Street Profits retaining over the Undisputed Era. Io Shirai defeated Candice LeRae by technical submission. Velveteen Dream retaining his North American Championship over Pete Dunne and Roderick Strong. Shayna Baszler defeating Mia Yim. And then Adam Cole, baby, retaining his NXT Championship 2-1 in a 2 out of 3 falls matchup, or as we like to call it, the 3 stages of hell, over Mr. Wrestling himself, Johnny Gargano. Overall, guys, this was a really good show. A lot of things happened. And it's just another prime example that NXT, holy cow, you guys just do an absolutely fantastic job.
I think it was a good takeover. I don't think it was as good as some of their recent outings, but I still had a great time watching this. I have to give, for once, I'm going to give Slack a shout out.
Oh, wow. Hell has frozen over.
Yeah, because him and Nikki and Danny from the Valkyrie, they were all at SummerSlam on weekend, and Slack was providing our Patreon chat, or now it's the Kings of the Rings fans chat, because our Patreon chat for Wrestle Addict Radio is actually on a different app, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Anywho, so, yes, shout out Slack, but still fuck your Slack. I have to say, I did not like the decision to keep the titles on the Street Profits at this point in time. Just because I'm an Undisputed Era mark. I wanted that whole draped in gold thing, but we know that didn't happen. But I want to talk about Velveteen Dream's entrance.
Please, by all means.
You start off with the Mounties entrance theme from 1992. Like, I am the Mountie, I'm handsome, I'm brave, I'm strong. And for a second I thought, there is no way in hell Jacques Rougeau is coming out right now. What is going on? So first you get some of the people who ended up being, I think, Toronto Raptors cheerleaders, because as soon as the Mountie theme ends, you get like the big Toronto Raptors, #WeTheNorth, big thing on the Titantron, and you get everyone decked out in their gear. Because you're in the 6th, Toronto just won their first sports championship since the Blue Jays in 1993. You're going to take advantage of that cheap pop or cheap heat if you're Elias, and we'll get there. Mo Ronaldo was always talking about something Raptors, something that, and then I'm always reminded that the Raptors MVP Kawhi Leonard is now an LA Clipper. I'm not bitter. We got a championship out of it, and that's the 3 stages of hell was just nothing but chaos. I missed the last fall because work, night shift, and I just had to go. When I was doing my office work, I'm like, okay, I have to see what's going on. How did this match end? Oh my god! That friggin' cage dive. And before we get to SummerSlam, Nate, I want to have a plug here.
All right.
I'm wearing my Abigail versus Bleeding Disorders t-shirt from the Sauble Beach 8K beach race, the run that I was raising money for.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I surpassed my goal of $300. Thank you, everyone who helped donate. I know who did. I'm not naming names. You know who you are. You have my love. Everyone who gave me the emotional support as well, because I actually ran some of it. Just I would walk a bit, then jaunt a bit, then jog, and go back and forth before finally finishing right at the beach and running right into the lake.
Really? Man, wow. Honestly, that's really awesome, dude. And I was going to ask about that, but thank you for bringing that up. Thank you again, everybody that donated to his cause. This was definitely something that I definitely fully support, and I definitely do fully endorse Game Changer Podcast. Gosh, if we could have gotten you like a Game Changer shirt to show that we'd be like a sponsor for you, that would have been absolutely amazing. Maybe next time. Maybe next time you do a run, we'll definitely have to do something like that.
It's annual. Next August, probably. I'm guessing it's going to be SummerSlam weekend again, but unfortunately, they're taking the party to Boston.
To Boston.
And if you know me as a Toronto Maple Leafs fan, you know how I feel about Boston. And I'm just going to leave that one there because Elias did a good enough job of getting the heat on the Maple Leafs on the Raptors. Talking about Kawhi Leonard leaving. Yeah, no wonder he left. You know how I'm in Toronto? Because I see nothing here but a Stanley Cup. Shut up, Elias. We know. I know we suck.
It's kind of one of those things where it's like, yes, we know we suck. You don't have to keep reminding us every single time you come in here. If we wanted to be insulted, we would call The Rock. Thank you very much.
Yeah, The Rock did a good job of that in 2003, but that's when the Maple Leafs were good. I mean, they're kind of good now, but you can't get past the first round of the play. Hockey season's not starting yet. I'm not turning this into Leafs land. Steve Dangle does a good enough job of that up here. Shout out to the Steve Dangle podcast. What else? That submission that Io Shirai put in on Candice LeRae. Mm-hmm. Ouch.
Yeah, boy. I just one of those things where it's like, I don't think a body's supposed to bend that way. No. Just, I actually remember like cowering in a corner, just thinking to myself, "Oh, please, Io Shirai, please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt me." I'm just, no, thank you. I know everybody's always just saying like, "Oh my God, Io Shirai, she's all hot. She's wearing nothing but leather. She looks kind of like," I don't know if some people have used the phrase emo-ish to really deal, but basically they're saying heel Io Shirai is like best Io Shirai. It's one of those things for me, I'm just like, she was still hot no matter what, Babyface, yeah, it shows that she's definitely bright and colorful, she's really awesome, and now heel has just shown that she can be an absolute badass, and also make me want to hide under the bed and wait until she leaves. It's almost like that scene from Taken, you're just waiting for, the strangers to get out of there, and you're thinking like, okay, I'm fine, but no, instead of, some guys finding you, it's Io Shirai who drags me from under the bed and almost tries to kill me.
That's starting to sound like the Fiend, brah. We're getting a little bit of...
Oh, okay, yeah, no, you're right. Well,
no, I know, we'll get there.
Trust me, we're going to be talking majorly about that. Trust me, buddy. Alright, but let's get into
into the main... into the pre-show, because, that's when I woke up, is halfway during the Cruiserweight title match, and then I missed the rest of the pre-show except for Elias.
Right. So for the pre-show, they had Drew Gulak defeating Oney Lorcan for the Cruiserweight title. Buddy Murphy defeated Apollo Crews by DQ because Eric Rowan decided, no, I'm not the guy who ran over Roman Reigns, and that's my best Eric Rowan impression. Hopefully I didn't offend too much.
He's gone British, dude.
Oh, he's gone British?
That sound, you're sounding kind of like a Brit there. I think Eric Rowan is like maybe American or something.
I blame Adam Blampier for his impressions because they're so spot on. Let's be fair.
Yeah, that sounded more like Blampier himself. But can we just talk about how stiff and wicked that Cruiserweight title match was? Just the slaps and the chops.
Oh man, I will say this. Go ahead for that.
You got Catch Point going up against whatever the tag team name is for Danny Burch and Oney Lorcan, like the Brit Am connection, I guess we can call them.
Mm-hmm.
More, please. I mean, I know there's an Evolve. I have to say this. There's an Evolve show coming up, I think, in Chicago. And do you know that there's a Cruiserweight title match on that card?
Really?
Drew Gulak versus Kushida.
Oh,
Get
boy.
in. Why is that not on the network?
Because stupid reasons, stupid people, suffering succotash.
Because Austin Theory was shown in the crowd and got no response because Toronto doesn't know who Austin Theory is.
Well,
fair.
a bit of a letdown. We also had Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross defeating the Iconics to retain their women's tag team titles.
You're joking me!
Yeah, I'm sad now. I understand where they're going with this with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross, but at the same time, it was one of those things where it's like, it was the Iconics. I still wanted them to hold it for a while, but then they just treated them like trash, and damn it.
You know why?
If it has anything to do with who I think it has to do with, I'm going to be pissed. But please, by all means, enlighten us. Why, Mr. Fretz?
Well, allegedly, according to the rumor and the innuendo, this is going to have a nice shout out to our good brother Ant.
Ooh.
There was supposed to be a match between them and the Bella Twins, and that is basically the quote unquote maybe reason the Iconics won the titles so soon after the Boston Hugs did. So you can have, you got the Iconics, the modern day Bellas versus the actual Bellas, but we both know that that's not happening because their in-ring careers are, unfortunately over. I used to be some of those Bella haters that you see on the internet, much like the John Cena haters and the Roman Reigns. Cut that, and it's in. All those haters, I'm not anymore, spoiler alert. But it's unfortunate that they got. I'll say this: they got better at right near the end. Was it Nikki had a match with? Ronda.
I think so. Yeah.
That was lit.
Yes, I definitely will agree with that. But still, I'm still kind of sad because Iconics could have had a really good title run, and they could have had they had a few more matches they probably could have put in there, but nope, they decide, this project's not going to happen, so let's just drop it. It's like,
and the titles were never on TV, and I'll give this Bliss, Buzz Lightyear, awesome.
Yes, I will agree with that. So we get into the main card. We had Becky Lynch retaining over Natalya in a submission matchup. Honestly, this was a match that was better than I thought it was going to be. I loved the fact that they were doing a lot of chain wrestling, a lot of the technical style that got involved in this. There's probably some people who are just like, oh, this matchup sucks. Like, it wasn't bad. I wish it would have gone maybe just a tad bit longer, but unfortunately, it felt like it kind of just suddenly ended. Like, it was just going to be like, oh, she locks in the armbar, boom, it's done. It's like, I get that, but at the same time, I was kind of expecting more from these two, because they put on good matches. They really have. They've had a couple of pay-per-view matches in the past, but this was one where it was just kind of like, that's it? I kind of was hoping for more. I was really getting into it. I liked the fact, especially at the end, where they had, chained into one move, and then to another move, and then to another. It was awesome. And then they just kind of abruptly ended. I'm like, huh. So that happened. It gave us a really good moment the night after in Raw, because as we heard at the top of the show, had a dream, I had made it.
I made it.
Miss Sasha Banks made her return to Monday Night Raw, fully going heel. And I will say this, I legit loved the fact that she did a whole deal where she came out, oh yeah, she's got, the purple hair, she's got everything like that, comes out, beats up on Natty, rips off, her jacket, and then she removes her purple hair to reveal blue hair, to which I'm like, okay, so she's showing that she's got a different side. I kind of like this. I kind of dig this. Even though it's kind of a thing that Mia Yim made famous, but let's not throw fingers anywhere. It's just one of those things where it's like, well, Mia Yim kind of did it first. Doesn't matter. Sasha Banks is heel. I'm okay with this. So, it looks like we're going to have, Sasha Banks versus Becky in the future. They've put on a great matchup at a TakeOver, and honestly, I'm really looking forward to this matchup. This is one of the few times where I think to myself, I want to kind of see them do hot potato with the title. I want to see them kind of exchange back and forth victories between these two, because I think they could really put on some great matches. Put them in a best-of-7 series for all I care. I'd be okay with that.
That sounds awesome. This was when the crowd was starting to get a little bit bizarro world. You had Becky was getting some boosts. I'm like, yeah, Natty's gonna. If you come out, okay, this is your Prime Minister talking. This is your resident Canadian talking. If you come out, regardless of who you are, if you come out to the ring with a Canadian flag, we're going to give you a polite pop, because that's our flag. That's our maple leaf right there. And you're one of us, you'll get the pop at first. But then, if you're like coming out with a Canadian flag and then you're telling us to shut up, no. Come on, Daddy. And then, Becky must have not been told this at the border, but you don't lock in the sharpshooter in Canada unless you're a Hart or your name is Sting.
Oh boy.
Even then, it's a gray area.
If she would have probably done like a modified version of it, it would have been okay. But when it's full on sharpshooter, it's like nope. But
if it was like the educator, when Edge does like a sharpshooter, but then the guy's like on his stomach.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Maybe, but even then, you're pushing it.
Also, speaking of Edge, we definitely do have to hit the fact that he was on the pre-show where Elias was trying to do his nice little song routine, but Edge just decided, nah, screw you, spear. Boom. Speaking of spear, let's talk very briefly, about Goldberg defeating Ziggler. This was a matchup that happened like a minute, 50 seconds. Not really too much happened here, guys. Yes, what you expected. Although, I will say this, Dolph Ziggler hitting a couple super kicks on Goldberg and almost getting even like a 2 count on him was literally one of those things where like, oh wow, are they actually going to do this? Oh, okay, I'm kind of interested in this. But then Goldberg, spear, jackhammer, 1, 2, 3, done. Then Dolph Ziggler just decides, you know what, I'm basically going to create an equivalent to career suicide. I'm going to call out Goldberg that again and again and again. He gets speared at least 2 more times, where the third spear, oh my gosh, I literally looked at this and I thought to myself, oh my god, he invented a new way to just get killed by a spear. I love it. Night after, Dolph Ziggler lost to The Miz. He calls out The Miz, to which Miz is just like, okay. And he does the skull-crushing finale to Dolph Ziggler while Ziggler still has the microphone in his hand and he's still talking. One of the greatest things I've ever seen on Monday Night Raw. He's just jaw-jacking, yeah, skull-crushing finale. I was thinking to myself, oh god, he's going to hit that microphone on the way down. Thankfully he did not, but that was still one of the things where it's like, okay, that's a highlight of my year now. Just Dolph Ziggler jaw-jacking and Miz just hitting him with a skull-crushing finale while the mic is still in his hand. It's amazing.
I hope that microphone was made of candy, because he ate that shit.
But
Dolph Ziggler's selling reminded me of Shawn Michaels and Hogan from SummerSlam 05.
Oh,
except
gosh.
that it wasn't as cunty.
Woo! Boy, I think this is the first time we've ever heard that word on this podcast, and you know what? I'm okay with making history.
I listen to like Wrestle Ramble and OSW, all those podcasts out in England and Ireland. They drop the C word all the time, so somehow it seeps into that. I vehemently apologize if that is a touchy word for anyone who listened or who may have turned it off after this point. I'm going to be going to Principal Ricky.
Principal Ricky, Mr. Fretz said the C word on the TV, and Ricky's just like, I'm pretty sure we've said worse.
I'm pretty sure Will has said it at least 6 times.
Okay, you know, by the point that this comes up, I'm sure that the latest podcast has had that at least 3 or 4 times. You're right. Shout out to the guys at the Kings of the Rings.
Maybe they did it pre-Kate Murphy, but...
Oh, no, you're right. You're right. But yeah, basically, I think the Grown basically gave his thoughts on Goldberg and Ziggler, so we're going to move on from that. Next up, we had AJ Styles retaining over Ricochet for the United States Championship. First of all, dear Lord Almighty, Ricochet as Nightwing, I want that now.
Yes.
Next time that the DC Universe is deciding, we're going to make a movie about Robin and stuff like that, it's like, okay, I only want Ricochet. But he's not quite the mold. I don't care. Put Ricochet as Nightwing. I want that so badly right now. He came out as freaking Nightwing in this matchup, and it was awesome. You cannot tell me that he would not be a great Nightwing.
Yes, he would.
Match itself, absolutely
awesome. If this was like another thing, it would turn into the Little Mermaid debate.
Oh God, you're right. Oh, you know what? There's a case in point. If the Little Mermaid can be a person of different color, why can't Nightwing be one?
Because they're both fictional.
There you go. But yeah, I'll say this right now. I loved this matchup, and also, my God, Ricochet countering the Calf Crusher, whatever you want to call it. I call it the Calf Killer. I'm still going to call it the Calf Killer until the day I die. I don't care. Kim countering that into the Anaconda Vice. I made a post literally after that where I just said, it's official. Ricochet is now the best in the world because he can do an Anaconda Vice. And, oh my God. Yep, that sparked the CM Punk chance. And you know something? It was one of those things where like, I don't care. I liked it. I loved the way it countered it. I loved how it just looked. Ricochet, just make that your submission finisher. I really just think that that's perfect for you right now. But yeah. Honestly, despite the interference involved in there, well, I think it was like very little interference though. So it wasn't one of those things where it was like, oh man, it's going to be something that's like full of interference. No, that's like, oh gosh, what was the recent thing that I just saw? It was like 96. Oh gosh, God, I'm trying to remember. I was recently watching Wrestling with Regrets review of Bash at the Beach 96. There's one matchup that was just full of like interference like crazy. Oh yeah, Conan versus Ric Flair. That's right.
Right. I actually just watched that today too.
So it was just one of those things where it's like, at least it wasn't that bad. It had moments where it's like, okay, maybe this is a little too much, but it wasn't to the point where it's like, oh, well, they had constant interference. Like, no, just like here and there. Which, thankfully, WWE does a better job at that. Honestly, this was match of the night for me. This was awesome.
Okay, so Ricochet is doing an Anaconda Vice and a variant of the Codebreaker. Best in the world, full circle, take 10 shots.
Yes!
Oh, man. Oh, and there's going to be another full circle moment, folks. Just if you're a longtime listener of the Game Changer podcast, you'll know about our big full circle moments. Oh, just you wait. I have a juicy one. This match was phenomenal. Pun definitely intended. I kind of liked how Ricochet, I think he did a backflip. He used one of the OC, California. You're never going to look at the OC the same again. If you're as old as me and you remember that terrible show, OC, stupid name. I think Ricochet kind of used the OC as a platform to do a plancha or something.
Yes, he did. He did a head scissors or something like that. But that was awesome. That was one of those moments where it's oh, this could end badly. No, it ended wonderfully. I love this match. Just take my mic. Give me more AJ and Ricochet, please.
That counter at the end, corner hurricanrana that led to that Styles Clash. Mwah, magnifique.
Yes, indeed. We have the SmackDown Women's Title matchup: Bayley defeating Ember Moon. How do I put this? Ember Moon put in the work. Super Cena, Bayley, picked up the victory after a few moves, and Bayley wins.
It sucked.
I was so disappointed with this matchup. I was thinking oh my gosh, maybe they'll give it to Ember Moon, maybe. Nope, Super Bayley to Bayley. Fuck me. Just...
And Toronto, for I don't know what Toronto has against Bayley, but they just shat on her hard. I think they really tuned out for this match. There's going to be a match later on that is going to have our favorite other Canadian Slack involved in it because of his feelings towards a certain queen. But yeah, Ember looked great. There is another suplex into a knees, wicked codebreakery kind of move.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I loved that. I remember that. Oh no, it was kind of. I think she was picking her up in a Yokozuna driver. And when she flipped Bayley around, she did that double knee that you were talking about. I literally looked at it like that, and I'm thinking, oh, please let that be a finisher for somebody. Because that is just awesome.
Yeah, because you're not gonna have a long career if you're doing our tornado stunner off the top rope and landing on your ass every night. So you got to have a backup.
Yeah, and we didn't get a chance to even see that because, Super Bayley. Moving on. We just...
Please move on.
Okay. We have at least a favorite Canadian other than Mr. Fretz himself. Kevin Owens defeating Shane McMahon to keep his job.
Best in the world. I'll stop.
Kill me, please. Elias was apparently the special guest enforcer. Kevin Owens would go on to actually assault Elias because he was being a dick. Fight me. Shane McMahon, oh my gosh, this was another highlight of the night for me, was just Kevin Owens looked like he was going to use the chair that Elias introduced into the matchup, and Kevin Owens was like, you know what, you're right, it's fine, here you go. He gives the referee the chair, referee's distracted, low blow by Kevin Owens on Shane McMahon. I will say this, that ever since the whole Best in the World thing came around, this was probably my favorite Shane McMahon moment by far, is just him getting kicked in the balls, gets a stunner, and gets pinned by Kevin Owens. I absolutely loved this. And what came out of this? Well, because he had Kevin Owens attack Elias, he was an official. Therefore, Kevin Owens has to pay a $100,000 fine for this.
Oh my gosh!
Just, I feel like there's so many GoFundMe accounts right now that are just probably having people say, oh, Kevin Owens, we're going to give you our money, which I would donate to that too, but still one of those things where it's people love Kevin Owens. They really do. He's really good at being a dick, and he also is really good at being a very passionate babyface. So right now, I think that Kevin Owens is at a really good spot right now, and I will say this, there's going to be another thing we're going to be talking about later on, which we've talked about in the past. I think we'll save this for after we get done with our commercial break, after we finish SummerSlam. Yeah, match itself, nothing too spectacular. It was just one of those things where it's well, hopefully Kevin Owens does not lose. And he didn't. Thank God. There is a just God in WWE, and his name is not Vince McMahon. I think his name is Hunter Hearst Helmsley.
Once I saw the stipulation, we were predicting last week, once I saw the stipulation that Shane wasn't putting his career on the line, I started having, like, really bad feelings that we were going to see some Shane-nanigans, but instead, we got, you know, Hansmole Man Productions presents Man Getting Hit by Football. You know, beer, like, football in the groin, give that man the $10,000. Simpsons references, folks. I'm full of them. I was so expecting all of, like, the Simpsons memes pages to have the beer when Owens kicked him in the nuts, but so far I haven't seen any. But yeah, this match was fun for what it was. Owens was a superstar and maybe got the second biggest pop of the night, third.
Maybe
up here. He's a superstar. I mean, he's from Quebec, and some people in not Quebec don't like Quebec that much because, you know, in the 90s there was like a threat of separatism from them being their own little place. But this isn't politics. But yeah, KO's a superstar. Unfortunately, I think this feud's going to go to another Hell in the Cell match.
Because, you know, the first... Well, I mean, here's the thing about this. The first one I thought was still really good. The only issue was that the undercard pissed me off so damn much that by the time we reached that point, I was just like, click, off.
I don't even remember the undercard of that.
All I need to say is Jinder was WWE champion, and you'll understand.
Oh, right. Another Canadian. Woo!
Well, speaking of another Canadian, we had Charlotte defeating Trish Stratus by submission. What I could really say about this matchup is that, you know, I think we had expectations going into this. The thing about it was that I felt like they slowed the pace down just a bit in the medium. It felt like, you know, it started off very interestingly. We were watching Trish Stratus pulling off moves that I don't think I remember her doing when she was an active member of the roster. I think she did like this head scissors deal, which I looked at. I thought, okay, this is new. I'm totally down for this. But you know, match itself, I would say it was passable. It's not one of those things where I'll be like, oh, it's an instant classic. It's really great. It's like I think they could have trimmed like a couple minutes off this matchup. I think the right person won, definitely. If they would have had Trish Stratus go over, I think people would have been kind of scratching their heads like, huh? What? But, no, like I said, you know, I still give props for, you know, credit where credit is due. They put on a good matchup. It was just one of those matches where I thought, maybe there's more that they could have done with this, or they could have just trimmed a couple spots here and there. But I think that if this is Trish's, you know, final matchup, I think it's still really damn good. Just not, you know, like the greatest, but it's still damn good.
Yeah, this was a fine match, I thought. This is when, throughout the entire build-up to this, Slack was, he was just giving out. He hates Charlotte Flair with a burning hot passion, and it's like, he's like, if Charlotte Flair beats Trish in Toronto, I'm lighting the city on fire. Then afterwards, I'm just like, got your blowtorch, bud? So it's like, his whole section is just like, he's taping his whole section, and it's like, I don't get it. Why did Charlotte win? And so this was when he started to instigate Facepalm Club, hashtag Facepalm Club. Shout out to Kayla and Rachel. Fantastic.
Working on the shirts, by the way. I'm working on the shirts. Hopefully by the end of the year we'll have hashtag Facepalm Club shirts ready to go.
Please tell me it's Bullet Club doing the facepalm.
Oh my god. That
give the infringement. Oh, we're gonna get flagged.
Oh, damn it.
Cody's gonna flag us. Full circle, because I'm talking about Cody in a little while. Alert. Yeah, I'd say the right person won. Trish walking in the figure 8 was surprising.
Yeah.
And that head scissors spot, I think she used to do that, called the May Trish. I'm sorry, Trish, sweetie, but no, that's a bad name.
Just no.
Well, it was 2002. Matrix was like the hot shit, despite the fact that movie friggin' sucks.
It had great graphics, but the acting was horrible. But, alright, so we move on from that one to the WWE title matchup. Kofi Kingston and Randy Orton fought to a double countout. Match itself was really good. I really loved the match itself, I hated the finish. I understand that people are saying, but they're trying to progress the storyline. If this would happen, then blah blah blah. Here's the thing about this: we literally got a conclusion like this last year with AJ Styles and Samoa Joe. So that's one of the reasons why I hate this finish. I get it. If we would have had this, if things happened last year differently, I wouldn't have an issue with this. But since we kind of got like a back-to-back deal, and it's the same championship too, it really pisses me off. It's one of those things where it's like, you couldn't have just had Kofi Kingston maybe get the victory here. I mean, I think that would have been dumb to have Randy Orton pick up the victory, especially when they had, 24 Kofi on the WWE Network afterwards. Also, baby Kofi is the most adorable thing I've ever seen. It's just one of those things where it's like, I get it. They're trying to make this more personal. They're trying to make it deal. I legit thought that Randy Orton was going to just grab one of Kofi's kids and almost start to do the drape DDT. Trust me, guys. If you've known what Randy Orton has done in the past, you would not put it against him to do that. It's just one of those moments where he looks over at the kids, and I'm just like, oh, Randy, no. Kofi goes crazy. It's like, okay, thank you. Ding, ding, ding. What? Double count out? Really? Just, But I understand. It's to serve the storyline. They're going to do it for, Clash of Champions or whatever the frick it's called, whatever. But yeah, I mean, the match itself, like I said, parts were really good. Really enjoyed it. Just the finish was really the thing that just pissed me off.
Stupid.
Yeah, I couldn't put it better.
Yeah, but I'll say literally the only thing I liked in this match is Kofi, Orton was down, Kofi was kind of stomping at him, doing the boom drop. Who's stupid now? That's literally the only thing I liked from this match. I was bored, and I'm looking at my watch because this was around the time I was getting ready for work, and I missed the next part. But I got to watch on Twitter because, excuse me, when I got to work on Sunday night, I found out that our delivery, I'm a grocery stalker, our delivery never came. So I worked half a night, came back at 3 in the morning, and watched The Fiend's entrance about 12 times.
Yep, because we're going to be talking about that next, ladies and gentlemen. Probably one of the greatest things we've seen in a long freaking time. The build-up has finally culminated. We get to see The Fiend take on Finn Balor one-on-one. So Finn came out, he was wearing all white, which I looked at this and I was kind of like, huh, this is kind of new, this is kind of interesting. I guess he kind of represents the light. And, we get the classic deal with, the Firefly Funhouse where they're like, we're so happy you're our friends. And this is the friendship that...
This is the friendship that'll never, ever end.
And trust me, folks, we're going to talk about... You're going to listen to the theme song. We're not even going to spoil that part.
Yes.
But, entrance-wise, oh my God. So, it is kind of the same thing that Bray Wyatt does when he normally came out. But, I will say this, he ramped it up 120% because the lantern is covered by the head of Bray Wyatt. You did not mishear me. It's the head of Bray frickin' Wyatt. And it's opened up, the mouth is opened up for the lantern to come out. Here comes the Fiend. Oh my God, was that some, Texas Chainsaw Massacre shit that I absolutely loved. I was like, yes, my God, they did this. This is so creepy, this is so freaky. Then we had Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, I should say. He attacks Finn Balor. My God, did Finn Balor not even get that much moves in this first part? And one of the biggest things that came out of this whole deal, Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, grabs Finn's head. It does almost like a neck snap deal. Oh my God. Oh my God. I thought to myself, Finn is dead. Finn is literally dead. There's no way. There is no way that they're just going to say oh, he's going to recover from that. No. I don't care. That's like Lucha Underground-esque right there. So Finn gets a couple deals, and he gets the shotgun drop kick, stuff like that. He goes to the coup de grace. the Fiend catches him with the mandible claw, to which Mick Foley has said that the mandible claw is now Bray Wyatt's. Let me point this out here. He gave the double arm DDT to Dean Ambrose, Jon Moxley. He gives the mandible claw to Bray Wyatt. Mick Foley is now officially the most generous wrestler that I have ever known, and I dare you to fight me on that. He locks in the mandible claw to Finn. Finn is down. He's just losing breath. Finally, his arms just flail down. 1, 2, 3. The Fiend picks up the victory. And some people might say, like, oh, but it wasn't submission victory, not the same. You're right. And I don't care. I will take a submission victory with that. I will take a pinfall victory with that. They handled the Fiend perfectly. There is no way that they could have messed it up. And this was one of those things that we expected. We were hoping was going to happen, and it happened. And everybody's happy. So many people are thinking, yes, Fiend going to kill. Wait, what's that on his chest? Oh, he's got like the religious hands folded deal. Oh my God. I love this. I love this. And it ends very Undertaker-esque, where lights go out. Then we just see the Fiend on the ramp. He looks back, and we just see the lights kind of flickering. Sorry for those that have what's the
epilepsy.
Epilepsy. Thank you. For those that have epilepsy, apologize for that. That just was one of those moments where it's like, oh my gosh, they're doing like an Undertaker deal. This is awesome. This is amazing. Oh, I'm still getting goosebumps from it. It's just so good. I mean, Fretz mentioned that the fact that he watched that entrance like 12 times. I've not stopped listening to that theme music. I've not stopped watching that matchup. It's so good. It's one of those things where it's like, why didn't we get this Bray Wyatt sooner? This was awesome. This was the repackaging he needed. This is the repackaging that he was deemed for. And I'll tell you guys this, that one thing that we've been shown on, I think it was like on a Reddit or on YouTube or something like that, where they had Bray Wyatt back when he was doing the whole, Louisiana deal. He talked about basically like what this Fiend character was just all about, and how basically Sister Abigail was almost like having him embrace that. It's such a good backstory. It's one of those things where it's like 3 years ago. They literally predicted this. This is awesome.
Excuse me a minute.
And we're back.
I just screamed into a pillow, folks, because the Fiend was the most terrifying fucking thing I have seen in my entire life, and I loved it.
It was just, yowie wowie is right.
I'm trying, I've been saying that. That's all I said to my nephew was over last night. He's 4 years old. He saw a picture of the Fiend on my phone, and he said, that's scary. That's going to give me nightmares. Okay, I'll change my background quickly just for you, because he was playing Pokemon Go. But, so that's all I was saying, yowie wowie to him and his sister, my niece. Everything about this was perfection. You had the entrance. Yeah, the severed head, so incredibly symbolic this was, because you have when a Christian says that they're born again.
Yes.
This was Bray Wyatt being born again, but the opposite.
Yes, I see what you mean.
The fact he had pray hands. Shout out to Dusty Dave. He had the pray hands on his shirt. You had all the flickering lights. Code Orange, nailing the dark-sided theme, dark-sided version of Live in Fear. That I think it was Dave Crozer or CFO $sign that did the original. I think Bray Wyatt had somebody do that theme live at WrestleMania one year, and the lead singer looked like he was wearing a Marty Scurll mask.
You're right.
It's a dark-sided version, and you saw as he was approaching the ring, he looked at his hands, hurt, heal. struggling with his inner self, kind of this dual personality, Jekyll and Hyde shit. That's when Finn Balor started to get a bit of offense in, because, Fiend Bray is like, he's trapped in like his own prison in his own mind. Like, that's where I think the Firefly Funhouse kind of is. It's all in here. And when the demon, because the demon is going to beat him. I'm saying this is WrestleMania. This might even be late next year. Who knows how long Finn's going to be gone? You had the theme, but as soon as the lights hit, the crowd is instantly popping, chanting "Holy shit!" and his mannerisms. Like, this is Bray's taking complete control of this character. That severed head is it's going to haunt me for the rest of my life. The mask is, I want that mask. I want a Yowie Wowie t-shirt, but WWE shop for shipping to Canada sucks balls, because my Elias shirt cost me almost $70.
Wow.
Because it was 30 something, and then it's another bit of shipping, and then I got them to ship it to my work, to my store, just down the street. And they were like, there was another duty, I forget what company it was like some duty-free bullshit company. It was like, yeah, you gotta give me $20 or else you're not getting this. So the cashier who was there had to pay for it, and then I had to pay her back. But yeah, I'm not doing WWEshop.com, so if anyone wants to send me a Yowie Wowie t-shirt, I'm an XL. Hint, hint. Or one of those Firefly Funhouse loot boxes that I didn't realize only had 500 of, and they sold out within minutes. And eBay, of course, you get dickholes on eBay jacking up the price by 300%. But The Fiend, this is the greatest thing I've seen in wrestling all year, maybe all decade. I went on and on about it in my Fretzelmania podcast. I uploaded, I think, last night or this morning.
Cheap plug.
Yeah, cheap plug for the Fretzelmania podcast. I'm getting to do a little bit more of it, but that might go back under the rug once I get my Patreon show started. Mm-hmm. But yeah, you had everything. This was just long-term booking at its best. I mean, if you want to talk long-term booking, Orton and Kofi literally was 10 years in the making. That's good long-term booking. But this has been building since WrestleMania, since you saw that rocking chair with the Abby doll with this weird puppet coming out, and we're like, what the shit? And then the first Firefly Funhouse, no one knew how to react. It's like, so Bray Wyatt is Mr. Rogers. And I don't think I clued in to the whole mind prison thing until, after the second episode, or somehow after the first, that someone in in the Kings of the Rings chat was just saying, no, this is going to be like Twisted Bray. Oh, man, it is. And I'm okay. Everyone was complaining about, oh, no, he wasn't on Raw and SmackDown. He wasn't mentioned. That's the point. I love that this whole thing is shrouded in mystery, and we don't know when the Fiend is going to strike next. That's just the awesome part of it.
Exactly. And I was saying this to you, I think it was a couple days ago. I said he's at the point right now where he could feud with anybody, and it would make sense, because the Fiend basically is just one of those characters that could just attack anyone. It makes sense. He could get in a feud with his brother, Bo Dallas, for all we care. And honestly, it could be one of those things, I know, fantasy booking, duh. But at the same time, honestly, I kind of would like to see that now. The Fiend basically just destroying Bo Dallas. And it's just one of those things where it's like a representation, like, this was my family. I discard it. Just one of those things where he's getting rid of his past, basically. Just saying, oh God. Even him just doing that thing with, Eric Rowan or Luke Harper, which I do want to mention this. So, Bully Ray actually tweeted to Bray Wyatt about the Fiend deal, and he was actually talking about how Bray Wyatt eliminated him at the Royal Rumble, and he hasn't gotten an apology for, eliminating him so vastly. And so funny because Bray Wyatt basically replies that, he said, like, oh, I apologize. Brother Devon said that we were, like, best friends and stuff like that. And he even mentions Tommy Dreamer. He calls him a polka dot mastodon. It's just so fucking hilarious. If you guys haven't gotten a chance, check it out. It is one of the funniest things you'll see. Just this interaction between Bully Ray and Bray Wyatt. It's so funny. It just starts off kind of one of these things where it's like, oh, I'm sorry, buddy. I mean, according to Devon, I thought we were friends. And just imagining this being like a Firefly Funhouse episode where he just says that. And he says that phrase, polka dot mastodon. And, literally it's one of those things where it's like, we'll know who he's talking about. I'm sorry, but, I mean, Tommy Dreamer, my God. You just... Anyway, but, oh gosh. Like I said, right now we're at the point where, yes, they want to keep that, Fiend there character special. They want to make it like an attraction just like with Finn Balor's, demon gimmick. And that's fine. That is totally fine. In all honesty, if they were to finally have, like the Fiend win a championship down the line, that'll still be great. And it'll be a situation to where it's like, well, we don't know when he's going to defend it. We don't know when it's going to happen. We shroud that mystery. Keep it mysterious. Keep up the amazing work with that. So, oh gosh, we've talked so much about The Fiend, but something, like we said, it's one of the greatest things we've seen in a long-ass time.
Oh, I got something cooking up here. So, okay, let's just say, hypothetically, The Fiend wins the title, soon. Number 30, Royal Rumble,
Oh, I see where this is going. But please.
No, not the Demon, WrestleMania, Demon Fiend, let's just say there's build up to it, and Bray Wyatt comes out to a demon headlamp.
Oh.
Let me in. Oh man, I can fantasy book the shit out of this, but I'm just... This would be like a 7-hour podcast, and I kind of want to, go out to my coffee shop here, get a coffee, have a bite to eat, and have a nap for night shift work. Woo!
Right. All right. So now we have to talk about the main event, the matchup for the Universal Championship. Seth Rollins dethroning Brock Lesnar in clean fashion, mind you. This was one of the few times where I was legit in shock at how this matchup just went down. I mean, we expected Brock Lesnar to, do his little suplex, F5 deal, stuff like that. But as soon as he hit his first F5 and Rollins rolled out, I was like, oh, well, okay, that's different. Seth Rollins hit his first curb stomp. No, Brock kicked out with ease. Second one kicked out with ease. And all I always think to myself is, you know how to beat him, Seth. You have to hit him with 3. You did it at WrestleMania. You hit him 3 times. That's what did him down. So you have to do that. And sure enough, Seth Rollins goes for a third one. Brock Lesnar gets him up. Seth counters into a super kick. Third curb stomp. 1, 2, 3. Seth Rollins picks up the victory. My God. This was like a legit shock for me. Probably shock of the night was Seth Rollins defeating him clean. And honestly, Seth Rollins is back as Universal Champion. They addressed the whole situation of Brock Lesnar not getting a rematch versus Seth Rollins. I thought to myself, oh boy, so we're probably going to get Brock Lesnar and Kofi, huh? Oh, Kofi, son.
Oh, stupid!
No, we got... Okay, well, let me put it to you like this. Would you prefer Brock and Kofi or Brock and Randy?
Neither. Brock can just fuck off to his farm in Winnipeg, you idiot. Because I think that's where he lives. Somewhere in Manitoba.
Somewhere in the middle of nowhere. But, yeah, honestly, like I said, great matchup between the two of them. I think that this was probably the best one. And like I said, Brock lost clean, which has rarely happened, honestly. Because there's been a lot of situations where he lost because of a low blow, or he lost because of shenanigans or stuff like that. But no, this was one of the few times I thought he lost clean. My God. That's...
No nut shots.
Right. No nut shot was ever put into this matchup. Wow. I'm impressed by this. So overall, guys, I gave this event a B-. It's not one of the better SummerSlams, I should say. My God, I just almost say WrestleMania. there were some matches that just dragged too long, or they were just pointless, or stuff like that. Some results I just hated. The saving graces of this entire event was probably the main event, as well as the Fiend deal, because my God, was that awesome! Ooh, boy, howdy! More, please. More, please. Just more, please. But what were your overall thoughts on SummerSlam?
It was an okay show. I mean, I was really pissed off at the Orton Kofi finish. It kind of soured the show a little bit for me, but the Fiend, it picked it right up. Most of the matches were half decent, maybe except for Bayley and Ember Moon. I didn't watch the women's tag team title match because I was showering and making food, and I'm like, oh yeah, it's Alexa and Nikki are gonna win. I don't need to see this. And I was also having trouble finding some streams as well because the network was also glitching out for people as well. So people streaming the network, 2 and 2, it wasn't working out so well. But that was, I'd say it was an enjoyable SummerSlam. Maybe not as good as last year. What was last year? Last year opened with, was it Ziggler and Rollins for the IC title, and that had
yeah, that's right.
That had Roman winning the title, and then Ant having the best Twitter reaction of all time afterwards. People drinking Smarketeers.
Right. I will say this. I do want to do one quick shout out before we go into a commercial break. Shout out majorly to Issa Demon Diva. Definitely check her out at WWE Demon Diva for two reasons. One, because I want you guys to look at her videos and look at her reaction from the main event of last year's SummerSlam to the main event of SummerSlam this year. Definitely very different. The last year's one, she was just completely distraught. She had to drink to just get through that. This year, she took it better. Also, the other thing that's kind of funny, I think she was mentioning this on her Twitter, things that were going on in her workplace, where a lot of coworkers were just doing an air share deal that's something that's on the iPhone, to where they're showing pictures of the Fiend where it's Yowie Wowie would like to share this photo with you, and it's just a picture of the Fiend. Or another one's just Let Me In would like to share this photo with you. And like I said, it's these pictures of the Fiend, and she was saying, what have I started? And literally it's one of those things where it's you started the greatest thing that you could have possibly happened at work. That is amazing. Just having these moments where you could be working on a computer, something like that, notification on, Let Me In, sharing a photo. Just awesome.
Her reaction to the Bray Wyatt was also really good.
Oh my gosh, yes. So we definitely show love, we show support. Definitely really awesome. Demon Diva, Issa, you're amazing. And shout out to also Rant and Phil and MJ. You guys are the reasons why we are here. Thank you guys so much, and hopefully everything is going just fantastically, swimmingly well with your everything that you got going on right now. So with that being said, guys, we're going to take a little commercial break. We come back, probably some more fantasy booking as well as some game-changer moments that could have been great, but something, WWE just has a habit of just screwing it up because, stay tuned, you guys. We will be right back.
What up, ooses? This is DFDC Jeff Pomantrio of Not Your Mama Soap Opera, and you're listening to Wrestle Addict Radio.
Hey guys, this is NateFNGreat. Hey, have you ever wanted to be a champion but can't seem to really find the money and the time to get a championship belt? Well, you know who's a really good friend of mine? AJ from AJsBelts.com. These guys have a large assortment of championship belts, from classic belts to the modern day belts to championship belts you would not even believe. And guys, like I said, they work with you very well. With an awesome layaway program, there is no way that you can beat these guys' prices as well as these guys' deals, especially when you can give them a little bit of money every now and then until you can get that championship gold. Coming from a guy who's a champion and a game changer, I'm indeed NateFNGreat. I'm representing AJsBelts.com, proud friends of the Game Changer Podcast.
Hey everyone, it's the Pro Wrestling SoCal Val. You are listening to the Game Changer Podcast. Sending lots of love from California. Mwah.
Yeah, I'm proud of that, ladies and gentlemen. The fact that a good friend of ours, SoCal Val, check her out on her Twitter page at SoCal Valerie, as well as check her out on her Patreon page because it's absolutely awesome. Check out all the great stuff that she's got going on over the next few while. I know I'm doing a little plug for SoCal Val, but she's my friend, and she is awesome. Let's face it.
Screen Stalker, too.
Yeah, and Screen Stalkers. We gotta plug Screen Stalkers, too. Definitely check them out, as well as their sister company, Support Wrestle Talk. Give them a subscribe. Give them a like. Just show the love to the people over there. They're absolutely amazing. And, of course, since we're doing the cheap plug deal, might as well do the cheap plug for, so many great people that we have here at the Wrestle Addict Radio Network. Of course, check them out at addict_wrestle. You guys check out our boys over at the Kings of the Rings podcast, the Not Your Mama Soap Opera podcast, which I am a big fan of, and definitely you guys want to check it out because it's absolutely amazing. Also, check out the Gifted podcast as well as the Fourth Wall WrestleCast, and also us here at the Game Changer Podcast, not the Game Changer Wrestling Podcast, King Ricky, you naughty, naughty boy, you. It's just the Game Changer Podcast. So, with that being said, let's discuss some really fun magic, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, I'm talking about some fantasy booking as well as some things that we kind of been talking throughout the month about certain things that have been just happening, that either were really good when it started off, but then there were other points where it's like, interesting. That just happened. So let's discuss. So for me, I actually picked out the one and only Rusev Udria, Rusev Magica. Yes. So for Rusev, I will say this about him. He started off really strong, and it even goes back to NXT. This is a guy who literally was undefeated in NXT, and he lost to, of all people, Dolph Ziggler. Oh, trust me, we're going to talk about that in just a bit. So he debuts after WrestleMania 30, and he comes out, instead of being Alexander Rusev, he just becomes regular Rusev. Has a Russian interpreter, Lana, who turns out to be his future Mrs. Rusev, because, oh my god, Rusev, you sly dog, you. He had some pretty good matches. He basically took on people like, Xavier Woods, R-Truth, Jack Swagger, Mark Henry, The Big Show. And it was all about America, because that just needed to happen, apparently.
America, fuck yeah!
So, basically what ended up happening is that, Rusev would defeat Sheamus on a dark matchup, the dark main event, actually, for an episode of Raw, to become the United States champion. He continued his dominance all the way till about WrestleMania, where he runs into John Cena, who squashes him at WrestleMania, because apparently John Cena can't be shown up by somebody who comes in on a freaking tank. And he beats Rusev in a Russian chain matchup, because why the hell not, I guess. Then he defeats Rusev in an I Quit match. Wow. Just wow. Then we have the whole deal where Rusev gets injured. That's unfortunate. Rusev then would go on to have a feud with Dolph Ziggler, which would eventually get squashed because of the fact that he decided that he was going to basically get engaged to Lana, even though that was eventually supposed to be like the final payoff to the whole story deal. But unfortunately, that just that hurt Rusev quite a bit. He kept getting squashed. I mean, he got married to one of the hottest women around, that being Lana. Unfortunately, though, it still kind of cost him, which is really stupid, to say the least. He would go on to be, do like the League of Nations deal, and then after a while he would do Rusev Day, which would get him over majorly. But yeah, Rusev just absolutely got crushed there. So, yeah, Rusev was one of those guys that definitely got shafted, probably from the beginning, in all honesty, because they made him out to be like this, Russian sympathizer, even though he's, Bulgarian. And it's kind of one of those situations like, well, how do you kind of rebook this? Well, I would still keep things the same way as they would be. And also, I will say this, I could do it betterly because I'm an effing genius, no ding required.
Ding!
Apparently in this case I get the ding. So for this, basically, yeah, I would still have him do what he was normally doing, just defeating everybody that gets in his way, everybody that just tries to stop him. He crushes them, he beats them. I would not really do that whole deal where it's like, oh, he's representing America. I mean, it's just one of those things where it's like, they've done this so many times, they beat this to death, unless they had like an issue with Russia during that time, which I don't believe they did. There was no point really at this point. I don't know. But at this point, it was just like, just don't do that. No, just no. We take that out. I would still keep the way he won the U.S. title the same. I would have him, just beating people left and right and center for that deal. And honestly, guys, here's the thing about this. I would actually have Rusev at Fastlane not be challenged by Cena. No, save that for WrestleMania, you idiots. I would actually have him face Ryback, because if you guys remember, when Ryback came back after getting quote-unquote fired, he basically cut this really passionate promo about how, it's coming up, overcoming adversity, overcoming odds. He talks about his injury that he had when he was doing the whole Nexus deal, and it's one of those very good promos that I look back and I think to myself, wow, this is just really good. I'm surprised that they didn't do anything more with this when he was doing this, because he definitely got the people behind him. It was one of those things where it's like, wow, they're bringing reality into this. This is really kind of cool. So after that would happen, we would have Ryback and Rusev at Fastlane, and we see Rusev picking up the victory by shenanigans, because he's starting to realize, oh no, these guys are getting tougher. I need to make sure that I hold this title belt on for as long as possible. The night after, we can have the Cena deal where he's like, I should challenge you at WrestleMania. Ryback comes out and says, no, I want to challenge this guy because feed me more, feed me Rusev. Okay, maybe that just sounded weird. But they would have a number one contenders match between Cena and Ryback, in which Cena would come out victorious and would face Rusev at WrestleMania. But in this case, ladies and gentlemen, I would have Rusev go over. He has a freaking tank. Let him have the victory at WrestleMania. And it would be a legit shock of WrestleMania. You look at some of those moments during there. The major shock there was the RKO that Seth Rollins got from Randy Orton, the whole deal with Ronda Rousey, the cash-in at the end. Why not just have another one where Rusev, beats the guy to where people are be like, oh wow, this is probably like one of the most dramatic and shocking WrestleManias of all time. So we have that. We have Cena saying, I could beat you. You had to, do underhanded tactics to beat me. Blah blah blah. That deal. So Rusev's like, okay, I'll take you on in a Russian chain match. In this matchup, though, the final moments, I would actually have Rusev choke out Cena with the chain to the point where Cena passes out. Rusev touches the first corner, second corner, third corner. Cena is just waking up at the fourth corner. He thinks that he's just about to catch Rusev, but boom, Rusev gets it. A complete shutout. Not one of those things where it's like, oh, they got this person hit this. Oh, I'm going to hit this. This person hits this corner. This is going to be it. No, it's just one of those things where, again, Rusev looks dominant. Again, he basically takes down Cena a peg. Just have that happen. And then I would have them have one more match against each other at Payback, and this time Rusev says, well, I'm putting the U.S. title on the line. What are you putting on the line? And this could be a moment where, Cena could say, I'll put my career on the line. And some people would be like, oh, but that's predictable. Yeah, but at the same time, you make the matchup really good, you won't know. And you thought that he was going to you thought that he was going to win at Mania. Wrong. You thought he was going to win at Extreme Rules. Wrong. You have these two back-to-back victories for Rusev. He looks dominant, so there's kind of that moment of like, wow, Cena might lose this. He might be done with WWE after this. But of course, Cena actually does pick up the victory. Rusev does, say, I quit in Bulgarian or in Russian, something like that, and have it just be a situation where, Cena is trying his hardest. He knows that he has to go to like this deep, dark place to where he has to beat, Rusev, and just have him, even like Rex Rusev's leg. So then it's one of those situations where it's like, okay, well, Rusev has this injury, have him take time off now. It's because of Cena that it happened, where Cena, could just bash his leg with a chair or with the steel steps, just literally destroying Rusev, to where he basically does that whole deal where, he chokes out Rusev, then splashes him with water, locks him in again. I would not do the whole deal that he did with Umaga, where he had that ring rope wrapped around, because that was just, I think that was a little too graphic, especially for wrestling fans. But I would have him, do something where he does make the STF that much more brutal, and just, again, he wins the title. He promises to make it, prestigious. He does the open challenge deal. We still get the deal where he gets the feud with Kevin Owens. I would still kind of have him do this feud with Dolph Ziggler, because honestly, I think it makes sense because of how Rusev just basically says, oh, I had the match won, but you cost me it. You made me say I quit. I didn't say I quit, and blah, blah, that deal. And in the end, just go through with it. For Rusev and Lana, just have their engagement be a secret. Maybe even just postpone it till when they're, kind of like happy together. They reach the place of just happiness and fulfillment, and they can just, have that marriage proposal on Raw. I think that would actually make for a really great moment. Don't do the stupid, oh, Rusev and Lana gotta get married on Raw. No. That's private matters. Let them have their moment. Let them have that. And yeah, honestly, I would have Rusev have a dominant victory over Dolph Ziggler. There may be a couple points where Dolph Ziggler picks up the victory, but that's by shenanigans. But yeah, have Rusev turn babyface, have him maybe go after the U.S. title again, because at that point it would be on Del Rio, and I think the sooner we get that title belt off of him, the better. Although I kind of did like that moment with Kalisto anyway. But yeah, having Rusev be be a sympathizer, maybe be like a Bulgarian representative, but he still is cool with America. Don't have kind of be like who was it? Nikolai Volkov, where he was like one of the most notoriously hated villains back in the day, but after, the war was settled, everything was there, he was happy, he was more than happy to embrace America. He even teamed up with Hacksaw Jim Duggan for, I think it was either a WrestleMania match, or it was a it wasn't
at WrestleMania, but it was just like, it was there.
Yeah. It was one of the matches where it happened, basically. So that's kind of how I would have booked Rusev. Again, it's just kind of fantasy booking, but I think I did a better job than WWE did as far as booking wise go. So I don't know. Fretz, do you have anything to add as far as Rusev goes?
What day is today, Nate?
Is today Rusev Day?
Rusev Day.
Yeah.
There's a nice picture for the Twitter.
For the Twitter.
Yeah, we haven't seen him in a while. I guess he's just having some time off, and his Twitter game is getting kind of fun, but they definitely dropped the ball on him. I wish that he would have used the tank against Cena at WrestleMania. Okay, that's too much. Super Cena's he's not even a tank and take out Super Cena. Yeah, he could have had a better run for the U.S. title. I thought that I like your idea right there to extend it a little bit. And if they're going to do the whole thing with Dolph Ziggler, do not involve Summer Rae or Trout or, oh no, Lana's a cold fish.
Right.
Stop.
Yeah, no, just take out the stupid humor and make it a bit more of a serious deal, because some people will get invested with some comedic moments, but more people get invested in the drama. You have that drama there, it's going to be a great storyline.
Absolutely, and just Rusev Day. I mean that got so over that I think it got the kibosh. Like, this could have had a great WrestleMania moment. This could have had a great whatever else moment. Although he had like a Fatal 4-Way last year that Jinder Mahal won.
Yeah.
Oh, we're going full circle back to Canada again. Oh boy, I love Jinder, but come on, like, nah.
No, I totally get where you're coming from. Just no.
Yeah, he's underutilized. Maybe I hope he finds. Maybe he makes his way back. Maybe he pulls a Breezango and ends up back in NXT. But NXT's a little bit bloated. But then I'm thinking like, oh, Keith Lee versus Rusev. Let's go.
That'd be totally amazing.
Rusev versus Damian Priest. Rusev versus who's that guy? Dijakovic.
Oh yeah.
This is non-spoilery, but I'll just say this: there's going to be an episode of NXT that's going to have Dijakovic versus Keith Lee.
That's going to be good.
The spoilers are there. I'm not going to talk about them here. You can hit me up on Twitter if you want to talk NXT tapings spoilers. But as for my missed opportunity person, Mr. Nate,
yep,
I have someone that the WWE, I think they massively dropped the ball with, and I'm just on his wiki right now. And it's the man who is the current vice president or whatever of All Elite Wrestling, that being Cody Rhodes. So, we all know that Cody made his WWE debut. I'm looking through his wiki. I didn't know he was a tag team partner of Shawn Spears in OVW.
Really? I didn't know either.
I guess this explains their whole friendship and this whole angle that they're going through right now in AEW. They were feuding with a team called the Untouchables, a.k.a. Deuce and Domino, featuring another second-generation wrestler, Sim Snuka. I'm going to talk about some drop-the-ball second- and third-generation stars here. Don't you worry. Then they had a tag team title run. They had a feud over the OVW television title. And this is when he got called up. Now, when you're a son of a former prominent wrestler, you just automatically think that, okay, this guy should get pushed to the moon because he's Dusty Rhodes' kid. I agree, because, well, it's Dusty Rhodes, but if you take a look at some other I'll call them bad seeds. I'm stealing a reference from Wrestling with Regret there, because he did a bad seeds thing where he talked about guys like David Flair and Ted DiBiase Jr. and Sim Snuka and Manu, all people that are going to be involved with Cody Rhodes here, ironically. Yeah, I mean, he had a good run. Like, he had his tag team title thing with Hardcore Holly, and the setup for DiBiase being his partner was perfect. DiBiase's like, oh yeah, my partner's coming, don't worry. But where is he? Cody, bam, and we have the formation of the Legacy. Now, he had a good start, although he was primarily a tag team wrestler, a stable wrestler. I'll give him that. He had good moments. He then started a feud with Randy Orton, like he was supposed to get a WWE title shot at some point. I think it was after Backlash, but he had an injury. They continued a feud with Triple H and Shawn Michaels, just having being humiliated. But I think they also had an awesome submissions count anywhere match against DX,
which happened in Montreal, I believe.
Breaking Point, and I believe that was in. Yeah, it was in the Bell Center in Montreal. And what I was just going to see what else was on that card, just to be curious. But we had, no, I'm not going through that. But then we had, tension with the Legacy, and I think that started around the time of the 2010 Royal Rumble. And I forgot this, but we had a Legacy triple threat match at WrestleMania.
Yeah, WrestleMania 26. Yeah, 26 it would have been.
Yeah. And, Orton wins, and then we see, I don't know if it was here yet, but there was Dashing Cody Rhodes, then there was Undashing Cody Rhodes, both great runs, but there was also, there was an unreleased vignette released. I don't know who got a hold of it, but it was just after Cody left, and it was something like Cody Rhodes Enterprises, like him and Brandy, they're wearing a suit, and they're in this little TV studio. I don't know if you've seen that or not.
I have not gotten a chance to see that.
Okay, I think it's kind of like maybe what Cody's gimmick kind of is now. So this is when he was having a great singles run. He had the Intercontinental title a couple times. He beat the Big Show for it. And this is where he stayed. I think, for like the rest of his career, and that's where I think they dropped the ball. I mean, they could have had, when Damien Sandow won the Money in the Bank briefcase, which he should have had a friggin' run with, because imagine Sandow and Cody, the former Rhodes Scholars, no, they never won the tag team championships, unfortunately, but that's a world heavyweight title feud, if you ask me. Like, that's where I think they started to really drop the ball with Cody. And then when he started tagging with Dustin, it was fine, because that was his whole, they're trying to save their job when they're wrestling the Shield. And you know that when they got fired and they come through the crowd to bash the Shield again, that was awesome. And I'm like, okay, this is, the Shield's moving up the card, so maybe Cody's going to join them. And then he became Stardust. And the lesser said about Stardust, the better. It was cool. It should have only lasted like 6 months. It should have lasted for their tag team title feud. And he kept that gimmick for like 3 years.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. And we've heard stories about Cody, basically fighting for the fact that, hey, I want to get rid of, the Stardust gimmick. I want to, be Cody Rhodes. I want to do this, have a really good feud with, Dustin. And WWE just kept saying, like, no, we see a marketable deal in Stardust, so we're going to keep that going. To which, of course, many of us are just, And, but more time went on, it was just more of like, And Cody basically reached the point where he was just like, okay, fine. If you don't want me to be me, then I'll just be me somewhere else, basically. And, he is the best part of himself right now that, he's had some really incredible matches. He had, at All Out, he had that great match, at All In, I should say, he had that great matchup with Magnus, a.k.a. Nick Aldis, for the NWA title. He had a great matchup with Dustin at Double or Nothing. He's had some great matches, here, there, and we're going to probably see another really good matchup between him and Shawn Spears. And I do agree with you with the statement that, had they did a feud with Damien Sandow, further, and had it be for the world title, that would have been amazing. And it would have brought more prestige to the championship to have somebody like Damien Sandow, or even eventually Cody Rhodes, holding on to that championship.
Yeah, that was just a big drop ball. And I love that briefcase looked like a big hunk of chocolate.
It was very unique, but it was also very beautiful at the same time.
It was tasty. And I think that was around Cody had that wicked mustache around the time he was tagging with Sandow. And I liked how they call themselves like the best tag team to never win the titles. They had an amicable split, and then, Money in the Bank, every man for himself, okay, yeah, Sandow's going to push him off and win. The next thing on Raw, I thought, okay, this is good. I think Cody threw the briefcase into the lake or something. Like, okay, we're in for something here. Sandow's putting his briefcase on the line against. Did he put his briefcase on the line against Cena, or did he just fail to cash in on Cena?
He failed to cash. He failed to cash in on Cena.
And there's someone I can talk about being missed booking opportunity as well as Sandow was. I liked how he had I'm holding my mic right now like it's a glass of wine. I love how he would do that. It just added his whole element of class, and I still laugh that technically he used A Christmas Carol as his entrance theme. The Hallelujah chorus from Handel's Messiah is technically a Christmas song. So I hear that all year round. I'm like, this is funny. And I have seen a performance of Handel's Messiah live. Beautiful, by the way. If you ever have the chance, do it. Very good. And Cody, he just floundered. I mean, he had pay-per-view appearances. He had appearances at both WrestleMania Intercontinental title matches and had great spots and moments in them, even bringing out that big polka dot ladder one year.
Oh my gosh, I do remember that. Paying homage to his dad, and that was awesome.
Yep, big old sparkling ladder, and then I enjoyed the stuff he did with Stephen Amell. I think it was Neville and was it Neville and Stephen Amell against King Barrett and
Stardust, yeah.
Stardust. Yeah, that was one of. I think that was one of his last matches in the Fed, if I'm not mistaken.
No, you're definitely right. And I don't know if I've told this story, but it was so funny because it was the Monday before SummerSlam, and they were in Green Bay. I just remember Barrett's. I think it was Stardust. No, Stardust got beat by Neville, and we see Wade Barrett. He's carrying Stardust at the back, and I just remember screaming out to Barrett, it's like, "All hail King Barrett!" And he's like, "That's right, I'm the king."
Nice. I'm afraid I got some bad news.
Oh God, I loved that gimmick so much.
There's another wasted booking opportunity there. So Cody, I think now Cody, he's doing very well for himself. I wish that he would have had at least a title run. Like when he had the whole Legacy triple threat, I thought, okay, this could be a chance for him to move up the card a little bit. Dashing Cody Rhodes, this has opportunity. I mean, he was giving out and giving people grooming advice and saying, this is how you trim your nose hair, this is how you do this and that, and this is how you look good as me. And Rey Mysterio literally ruined his face, and you have, instead of his cheery, wow, there goes Cody Rhodes, we got the dark-sided, undashing. It was just a clear mask. It's like the same mask that Virgil wore when he broke his nose in 1992. You weren't hiding that much, Cody. I mean, we can still see everything on your face, bud. But that was still something I thought that was a great little knot in the storyline, and his feud against Rey Mysterio at whatever WrestleMania that was, using the mask or the knee brace to crack him right in the face. Perfect. And I love that he beat Ezekiel Jackson for his first Intercontinental title, because Ezekiel Jackson, I mean, come on, really? Him with gold? One of the forgotten Intercontinental champions.
That is true. That is very true. Just
it's like that Cultaholic song, what happened to that wrestler? Top 10 forgotten Intercontinental champions. And he was one of them.
But he became Big Rick and... okay, that's not a good example. I was about to say, he became Big Rick in Lucha Underground and then got killed off episodes later. Okay, he didn't survive that long.
I didn't even know he went to Lucha Underground. I saw maybe season 1 and 2, and then Netflix pulled the seasons from Canada. Damn it.
Yeah, well, technically he introduced Lucha Underground to Killshot and the Mac. So we have that to kind of thank him for, question mark, maybe? I don't know.
Willie Mack?
Willie Mack, yep.
Okay, yeah, I know who he is. Killshot, no, but I'd say Cody, I mean, if he just stayed in the mid-card, he never elevated. I don't know what it was that he could cut a decent promo. He's a fantastic in-ring performer. I don't know if he had heat with Triple H or if he had something preventing him, but every time he tried to go up the rung a little bit, he just kept going down. And we were robbed of a Goldust versus Dustin feud from at least a couple of WrestleManias.
Yeah, no, that ticked me off a bit, because that was something that they were trying to build up to for so long, and then it just didn't happen. And then we got it at Double or Nothing, and it was one of the greatest things we could have ever seen.
It was one of the, and the whole, I don't need a tag team partner, I need my big brother, and I'm like, I'm the little brother, and I'm just like, okay, and I work for my big brother, like, okay, this is killing me.
Right, it's one of those moments where it's like, okay, this is good. This is good stuff. This is why AEW is amazing.
That's some good shit, pal.
But no, I definitely do agree with you with Cody Rhodes. There were so many missed booking opportunities with him. One of his best matches was actually on Raw, where he was battling for his job. He basically was giving everything that he had against Randy Orton. It was one of those matches I look back and I think to myself, wow, this was amazing. Can you imagine Cody Rhodes putting on this matchup in main events and stuff like that? That'd be fantastic. But no, they just decided, hey, we're going to have him be just this copy of Goldust. To which he's even said, he's like, well, this is basically like Goldust. This is basically like Goldust. This is basically like Dustin. It's like, oh, did you want to try something different? It's like, yeah, I want to do something different. I'm not going to be that guy that's going to be like a carbon copy of what my big brother did. And, he tried to make the best that he could with it, but at the same time, I can understand. You can only play a certain part for so long before it's just like, yeah, no, I don't want to do this anymore.
Then after that, after I saw that whole Cosmic Kingdom thing with Wade Barrett and the Ascension.
Cosmic Wasteland.
That killed all of them.
That killed all credibility for everybody.
Yeah, and I'll give it that. I'll give it this. That Stardust theme, that was a banger. I kind of liked it.
I think it was decent. I thought it was pretty decent. Okay. Gosh, yeah. I mean, such missed opportunities with Cody Rhodes. Could have been WWE champion. Hell, when they had the World Heavyweight Championship, they could have put the belt on him instead of, freaking Del Rio, because why? Well, just why? Makes no freaking sense whatsoever. Gosh. I wish they would have done that and they would have had Cody versus Sandow, maybe on like a Raw or something like that, where that's when he cashes in. God, that would have been better.
Even if it was like a transitional, like a short reign, at least they both had it.
Yeah, exactly. Jeez Louise. It's just so... it's frustrating. But I think with that being said, we can conclude this episode of the Game Changer podcast. Guys, thank you so much for listening in. And this is one of those episodes that's just been absolutely insane. But one thing that we should probably mention the fact is why we kind of picked, being very heavily pushing the Fiend deal, as well as talking quite a bit about Cody Rhodes, because it does create another full circle moment. And what is that, Mr. Fretz?
NXT Season 3. Who was Husky Harris's coach?
Was that the one and only Cody Rhodes?
Boom. Full circle. Take a shot.
Yeah, buddy. Honestly, there were some points of those NXT shows that I liked, and then there were some points where it was just like, okay, this is stupid.
Yeah, I did not like the whole game show aspect of it, but there is a quote-unquote lost season of NXT that would have involved Seth Rollins, Big E, Jinder Mahal, maybe Leo Kruger or Richie Steamboat or something like that. It was before the FCW merger.
Okay.
Yeah, so they're like, this is going to be the next season. Here are your next contestants. And it was all them. I'm like, oh, okay.
That would have been interesting to see. To hear Seth Rollins basically say, this is crap.
I wonder who all their coaches would have been. But,
So many possibilities.
And if we're talking about Cody Rhodes, there's just a couple other things. Like, I think just because you're the son or daughter of a prominent pro wrestler, it doesn't. I don't think many should automatically assume that you're going to have a career. Shaul Guerrero, short-lived career. I thought she could have had like a Charlotte Flair kind of run if she stuck with it, right?
Yeah. No, I agree with that. Tessa Blanchard, another really good example. She's the daughter of legendary Four Horseman Tully Blanchard. And she's created a legacy of her own by just being the baddest woman on the planet. I know there's a lot of people that will say, like, you said that about Ronda, you said that about Ivelisse. Okay, first of all, doesn't count with Ronda Rousey. And for Ivelisse, it's baddest bitch on the planet. So for Tessa Blanchard to be the baddest woman on the planet, that is a high compliment.
Yes, and I'm like, Jacob Fatu right now is tearing it up in MLW. I wish, I wish that Reed Flair was still with us, because I think he could have been something special.
I agree. Curtis Axel, a.k.a. Michael McGillicuddy, is another one of those guys that we had such hope for, such prominence for. But unfortunately, I think it was just one promo where he just kind of messed it up just a little bit, and it was just like, oh,
you
man.
You gonna go swimming? What's that, a wetsuit, Caval? It means a flute.
Oh, I was...
But they're...
I was actually talking about the one where he was in NXT, where he was like, you'll remember this moment as the moment, where he kept just saying the word moment.
Oh, it's like, McGillicuddy. Yeah, McGillicuddy. Real threatening.
Yes. And then Paul Heyman changed his name, and it was the greatest thing ever.
And there's one seed, I think, right now, who is nailing it, and this man is the son of Erwin R. Shyster, Mike Rotundo, IRS, and that is the Fiend Let Him In.
Yes, indeed he is. Oh gosh, we could go through like this long list of the guys that we've wanted to have just great hopes for, but unfortunately WWE just managed to screw it up. And you know what? Maybe they're bound for AEW at this point. We've seen that with Cody and Dustin. They're doing fantastic. We're seeing that with so many other people. They're really creating great stars. So we'll talk more about these kind of deals in future episodes, you guys. So until then, thank you so much for listening into this podcast. Be sure to check out the Wrestle Addict Radio Network. Be sure to check out everybody, all the friends that are on there. Kings of the Rings, Gifted Podcast, Not Your Mama's Soap Opera Podcast, which I want to plug so badly because Jeff Pomaccio is amazing, and I love his podcast. Absolutely amazing. Definitely one of my favorites. As well as the Fourth Wall WrestleCast and us here at the Game Changer Podcast. Thank you guys so much for your support. Be sure to give us also some support on Patreon. We just launched it this past Sunday, and it's something that we guys would love to get your support and just get a lot of your feedback on what things would you like to see on our Patreon. Let us know. Let us know in the Patreon chat. Let us know in the comments. Let us know how we can make it better and make it something that you guys will enjoy. And here's the thing about it. You only got to pay $5 to do it. You don't have to pay tiers. You don't have to do that crazy stuff. It's only $5. That's like a foot-long sub, but you know what? Who goes to Subway anymore? So, with that being said, he's been Mr. Fretz. I've been NateFNGreat. We are the game changers of professional wrestling. And just remember one thing, ladies and gentlemen. When it comes down to it, and when it comes to our podcast, just have to remember one thing. Let us in.